People think that my knees are bad from a lot of running, and they're wrong. I wasn't born healthy. I wasn't born with some great body alignment. I have sickle cell. I have all kind of shit. I have all kind of health issues. I'm up. I had a choice to make. And the choice was, growing up, okay, this hurts, that hurts. We can just sit down and do nothing. Or we can see how far we can push the human body. So on that journey, as I started getting more and more into my mind and start realizing what I'm capable of doing, my mind got stronger. So the pain in my knees, while it sucked, I've been doing it for so long, it became my new norm. Like, okay, my knees hurt. Okay, stop feeling sorry for yourself, but you sometimes have to ignore your feelings. For me, I made a decision, and my decision was to be the best person I could. And I basically, as I wake up and say, your feelings. Don't take it literally, your feelings, but sometimes you have to go beyond what you're feeling. And my knees were, but guess what? I wanted to run. And I knew that, okay, you can get knee replacements, this and that. Like I said, it wasn't because I ran too much. People always want to say, oh man, you ran so much so you flipped your body. You don't want to be like David Goggins. I hear it all the time. You don't want to be like David Goggins. In 2001, I messed up my leg real bad and hell, we kept on going on it. Just kept on going.
What did you do to it in Hell Week?
I think the boat, I fell, it twisted, but over a period of time, it got worse and worse and worse. So I was getting like Toradol shots every day, and then it just got worse. But I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I kept going on it, so it kind of healed all up. So I just kept going. Years later, it kept going on it. So I stopped squatting. So it became like, okay, my knees fucked up, my alignment's messed up, my hips are messed up, I can't squat. So, but I can still run. So, okay. Started running. Because running doesn't require you to bend down and shit. So I'm running a lot. And it got to 20 years later pretty much. And it was 2020. Cameron Haynes came down. We went for a 20-mile run. My knees were up for like 10 years. Long story short, it was like, okay, man, I got to get this thing looked at. So I went and got looked at. The doc was like, oh, we can go in there and just do a quick little cleanup job. And the cleanup job wasn't so quick. Guy was breaking tools and shit, up, like literally broke tools. He was breaking tools.
I talked to him. He told me your meniscus was the hardest meniscus he's ever experienced in his life. He's like, dude, he goes, I didn't know that meniscus could get that way. He goes, like, he's not human. He goes, when I was cutting into meniscus, it broke the scalpel.
Yep.
He said, normally when you cut into meniscus, it just slices right through like butter. He's like, I couldn't cut it.
Yeah, mine went butter. So all those motherfuckers who think I'm going to put in them 100-mile weeks, go yourself, bitch. You don't get no shit like that, baby, by sitting on the couch.
No, I mean, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, you've hardened your meniscus just through constant pressure and pounding.
Yeah.
So he went in there to clean it up, and then what happened?
So basically, that little meniscus, so my alignment was so bad, the only thing that was keeping me able to do anything was that little messed up meniscus. It was all jarred up and jacked up, but the second that thing got out, dude, it was like have you seen Star Wars? They have wobbly legs and they hit like logs.
The robot things?
Yeah, the robot things. That's how my leg was. It had nothing. It was just like a little dangling, like, so from my knee down, the shin, the tib, fib, it just dangled. Like there was nothing. And I was like, okay, man.
So it was worse after the cleanup.
Much worse. Like I was done. I went from running 200 miles to, I did 240-mile race in 2020, October 2020. It was Moab. Went out there, got second place, 62 hours. Knee was getting it drained before the race, but I still ran 240 miles. Literally 5 or 6 days before the race, I'm getting it drained. And it was a baseball size, and it's called a Baker's assist. So they drained it, and I went in there and did the race. Finished it, and I was like, okay, here we go. Went on to do some more races. I did like another 200-miler, did a couple more races, and then, like I said, Cam came down. Right after that, I went and got this surgery done. And I went from running every day to now I have some leg that just dangles. After that surgery, it just dangled. And I was like, okay, man.
And it's just from that little piece of meniscus?
Just that little piece of meniscus. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, man, this doesn't make any sense to me. There's something fucked. I don't understand why I can't put any pressure on my leg. The amount of blood they were taking out was unbelievable. I went back and I was like, man, I'm f***ed up. I mean, it's a simple meniscus surgery, man. Like people go back a week later. They're playing 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. I'm like, man, I'm never going to run again. I'm going to walk with a limp. So I'm going back. I'm literally getting my knee drained every week, getting PRP. I'm like, man, but in the back of my mind, I know how far I can push myself. I know my body so well, so well. And I'm like, this is wrong. I go, I'm never going to run again. I'm never going to run again. And I walk with a limp. So this went on for about six months. So I had the surgery done in February. 4 months after the surgery, I got to find somebody else to look at my fucking knee. So I try to keep my shit together. But imagine when you go from every day of your life grinding and you go to nothing. Like literally like 90-minute surgery, done.
That's crazy that it was just a little meniscus scope.
90-minute surgery, done. So I found this guy named Dr. Gamal out of New York. And we fly there, but I'm like, you can't fix this, man. Because I knew it was a lot more than knees. It was all kind of this body shit. So I walk in the office and the doc's like, yeah, I'm looking at your x-rays. And that's the doctor who's like, I don't know how. This is one of the, Dr. Gamal, look him up, world-renowned motherfucker, dude. And when this guy looked at me, straight-faced, he said, man, I don't know how you did anything with those knees. Anything, let alone run 200 miles back-to-back, 240 miles, where the fuck you did. I don't know how you did it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Can we get it fixed? And he didn't want to get there because he knew I was fucked. He's like, no, we can maybe try it in a unloader brace. Maybe an unloader brace will help you out. And I was
What's
like,
an unloader brace?
So basically, my knee went in on the meniscus side, on the inside. Mm-hmm. So it was like jamming on the inside. So this brace kind of helps realign the knee a little bit. So then you cannot have so much pressure on the inside of your leg. I'm like, man, so this is all you have for me? I'm like, you can't do shit for me? And he was like, no. And he was walking out of the office and he could tell. I was like, I wasn't too f***ed up, but I was like, cause I kind of was preparing myself for the next part of my journey. I don't like to lay in my shit too long. And I give myself a couple of minutes to say, okay, we got man to fuck up. We got to get back in this, like, what's next? Let's go see, let's go back to college. Let's do something because you're running and your athletic career's done. So he got to the door. He opened it as he was shouldered out the motherfucking door. And I'm looking at Jennifer. I'm like, well, we'll go back to, go back to Nevada and start again. And he was like, try the unloader brace out. And there's one more thing we could possibly do for you. And I'm like, get your little monkey ass back in here, bro. Like, what is it? Like, what the fuck's going on? So he was like, yeah, there's this surgery called HTO. And he was like, you can go in, we can, pretty much break your tibia. It's called high tibia osteotomy. They go in and they break your tibia, slice into it, and they wedge it to the point where they realign your leg back up. It's a very painful surgery. It's very painful afterwards. Painful as afterwards. And they put that plate, the plate you saw, back on. So your knee is still where it was because this doesn't get fixed. So it takes several months for that knee to start working that way back into where that alignment is. So on the outside, so I have a nice meniscus over there. That thing wasn't touched for years because how I was born, all the pressure was on my medial meniscus.
So your knee had been misaligned your whole life?
The whole life. That's my whole life has been up. So my meniscus on my lateral side is pristine. So now the way he did it is that all of my pressure is going on to that pristine meniscus.
Okay.
So now it's all about getting that leg back aligned, which is taking forever.
Knees are a problem, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that you require your knees to do what you do, your whole thing is endurance athlete. And to be an endurance athlete, you got to be able to move your legs.
You got to be able to move them. This was like literally a trained skill for me. I'm always preparing for like not being a bitch. I got to a point in my life where I realized this is life. And so I move on past things real quick. So people are like, oh my God, what are you going to do, David, if you can't run? I'll swim. Or I'll go to college or I'll do something else. This isn't my life. So I'm very aware how quick life can take shit from you. And I've always prepared my mind for the next chapter. And what happened with me was I started this thing called front loading. So when I was young, I used to be a little piece of shit. You know, like, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. And the second I got my head out of my ass and I realized, man, you can achieve a lot of shit if you get off your ass and you start moving and you start motivating yourself. Start becoming a self-motivator. So I started front loading. People are like, man, you've done so much by 47 because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring me. So my military resume is fat. You know, I did a lot in the military. I did a lot outside the military. I've made money. I've done almost every race out there, hard race in the world. I've broken pull-up records. I've done a lot of shit. So when these bad times come, and also, and not only that, work your ass off so you can enjoy. Yeah, you're taking a shot. You know, you may not live to be old, but what if you do? And you worked your ass off when you were able, and you were able to get up early, able to grind. If you front load it properly, the back half of your life is money. And that's what I did. The second I realized that, man, you are a piece of shit, we got to get going. Because at 47, man, you're not going to be able to do any of this shit. So I front loaded. So all these bad things that have happened to me, I sit back and go, man, how are you handling this so well? Well, I've done it. I front loaded. I have the money I need. I have the success I need. I have the determination, the willpower, and also the pride in myself. So when I wake up every morning, I know who the I am. I front loaded perfectly. So I don't care what's taking.
Your body is your medium. The body is the vehicle for you to express yourself.
Right.
And your body's breaking down. I know that they consider doing knee replacements on you, too.
Yep.
And what was that conversation like?
It was very basic, man. It's like, hey, you know, you're not going to be able to do some of the that you've done, even though obviously people are. But that was a conversation. And I know it sounds weird. It was totally fine. It was fine because people don't understand. This wasn't like a part-time job. Man, when you've done like Kobe Bryant. When Kobe retired that last game, he had like 60 points or something. He walked off the court. He didn't cry. He said, oh my God, I'm going to miss the sport. What the fuck? He walked off. He gave everything he could. Man, when you give what I've given, and motherfuckers like to say, oh, fuck you. You don't know shit. Which makes me who I am. I've given everything. People make, oh, you ran off up knees, you taped your feet up, you did blah, blah. You had 2 heart surgeries, you kept on going. Yep. Sure did. I had somewhere to go. And I got there. And buddy, when motherfuckers tell you, you can take a break now? Yeah, you f***ed up? As long as my knees are halfway worked, I got to run. You telling me, man, maybe a chance I can't run no more? Give me an excuse to not do shit, but as long as I have no excuse, I gotta do it. I was happy where I was. I gave everything. I gave everything to who I am. People always, I don't believe that. Don't believe it. I gave everything. And when you give everything, man, you have no regret. People didn't understand me. People don't understand me now. I don't give a I know exactly what I was doing. I'm not a masochist. I'm not crazy. I'm not this and that. People try to title me and label me. No. I had something to fucking do.